Hello, Arjun.
Hi, Poonam. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Sure, no worries at all.
Please allow me to introduce you to our viewers. Arjun Bardhan, an IT professional and a consultant at the Tata Consultancy Services for 10 years, worked with MER on his essays for Oxford SED. Arjun is going to graduate from Oxford SED in a month. Last year, in his first interview with MER, Arjun had shared his background, application experience, his resulting success at ISB and Oxford, his extracurricular activities, his volunteering activities, and his advice for older applicants. Today, Arjun has very kindly agreed to share his amazing experiences at Oxford SED MBA program. Congratulations on almost graduating from Oxford. How does it feel?
It feels great. I mean, the last 1 year, when I think back, it just passed so fast. There was hardly any time to absorb the experiences. So, I mean, it still feels like yesterday that I came to the side business school and I hardly knew how to navigate to the conference room where we were supposed to meet for our first session. So it has been a great journey, a lot of learnings, mixed feelings. There were moments of frustration, there were moments of happiness, but overall it has been an incredible learning experience for me.
Wonderful. I'm glad that it has been a great learning experience for
Thank you.
For those who haven't seen or read your first interview, can you tell us a little about yourself? Where are you from? And where did you graduate from?
I was born in Calcutta, in West Bengal, India, which is now called Kolkata, but I would love to say it as Calcutta. So from there, I did my schooling in West Bengal, and I did my engineering in electrical engineering, and then I joined TCS in Chennai. I worked there for 4 years, and after that, I moved to the US. I was spending some time initially in Indianapolis, Chicago area, and then I moved to Boston. So I spent more than 4 years in Boston. I had a great time at TCS working as in different roles, from quality assurance to a developer to a product owner. And lastly, I was a project manager managing almost a 4 million portfolio for an insurance client. And then I decided to do my MBA because I felt that my career growth had become stagnant and I wanted to do something different. And as I mentioned in my first interview, that I always wanted to do my MBA, but things didn't work out. And then I finally decided to do it. And I gave my GMAT 4 times, in fact. So I got a 730. Yeah, I shouldn't forget that because I was stuck on 610 for the first 3 attempts. Then I scored 730. Then I gave my GMAT. I was looking for 1-year programs, and then I started researching because I was in the US. I was more inclined towards the US programs because that was my familiar space. But most of the US schools have 2-year programs. There are a couple of schools who offer 1 year, but I was inclined more towards the European programs because they were better. They had better brand value when it came to the 1-year program. So I shortlisted a few European schools, including Oxford, Cambridge, and a few others. Then, yeah, things worked out at Oxford and I joined here.
What are your career goals? We had discussed your career goals in our first interview.
Yeah.
Do you think Oxford has helped you achieve your career goals?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it has been a great experience. I've got a great support from the career team here at Oxford. Whenever I approach them, they have been very supportive. They have always connected me to the career advisor here, to the industry experts, reviewed my CV, cover letter, gave me great suggestions, helped me with the mock interviews. So definitely I have got great support from the career team. But for the applicants who are applying to Oxford, who are planning to come, one of the things I really like to call it out about the differences or the expectations that people have from the career services is quite different than in India. this is specifically for the people who are coming from India, because here in any of the European schools, it's not just Oxford, and probably it's the same in US. You have to be proactive enough. An applicant has to be proactive. It's not the responsibility of the career services team to give you a job or to point you to where should you apply. It should be that the proactiveness should come from you. If you reach out to the careers team early in the year that I'm planning to apply here, this is my career goal, would you be able to connect me to an industry advisor? I would like to talk to them. They will definitely help you. But if you are just sitting at your home thinking that the career service is going to reach out to you with jobs, or there will be a campusing where companies are going to come, things don't work that way here. So I have heard some grievances from few people that the careers, I felt that it was more of a mismatch in expectations, the kind of expectations that they have. So it's very important to come with the right expectations, very important to come or be at least prepared in the early stages in the year. That definitely helps you.
Right. Yeah, that's a good. What is your favorite thing about your program? Could you please share your best experiences both in and outside of the classroom that have helped you shape your career?
Sure. So the best experience in the last 1 year would be the MBATs. So MBATs is basically an annual sporting event. It's called the MBA Olympics among the European schools. So where all the European B schools meet at HEC Paris campus, and we have a 3-day sporting event. So it has been one of the most incredible experiences of most of us. Like, we have heard from the past years from the alumni that MBATs is incredible. You're going to have insane fun there. But I mean, it was incredible. Like, it totally surpassed our expectations. So I participated in a couple of sports. I was a captain of the table tennis team, and we didn't won the table tennis, unfortunately, but we were the overall champions. And this is the third time Oxford side business school won the MBATs in terms of the overall medals tally. So it was a great experience, not just playing or being involved, but also supporting other team members. And it was great. I mean, it was a great learning experience to like cheering for other people, supporting them. So the overall experience has been incredible. And when it comes to inside the classroom, I'll probably say that it's just the overall cohort. There is so much of diversity in Oxford that will hardly get in other schools. There are definitely other schools, but Oxford side is one of them. And the diversity is its biggest strength because people come with varied experiences, varied backgrounds, different age groups, and they bring in so much different experiences. And since you are in a room full of people who do things differently than you, who think differently, there is an incredible scope of learning from each other. And that is probably the biggest takeaway. It could be just listening to the discussions that we are having in a particular class with the professor, the kind of experience that they bring with. Yeah, exactly. So that would probably be the biggest takeaway.
So Oxford met your expectations in every way.
I would say so. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Is there still anything that you didn't like?
Really, I mean, no school is perfect, right? So every school will have a few minor stuff that could have been done better. So that is also the objective of our year, that how we can improve this place. Or how we can have this place better for the incoming year. So we always have certain suggestions and improvements, and I think that is a continuous improvement process for any business school. How we can improve, be it in terms of the process, be it in terms of the quality of teaching or the quality of education. But overall, it has been a great experience.
Okay. So you cannot specify any particular thing that you would like to change about it?
Not really. I mean, there would probably be very minor things that could be there in any business school, I believe. But I don't think, I don't see any major change that will be needed.
Wonderful. I remember you were heavily involved in volunteer work. Did Oxford provide you opportunities for all the volunteer work?
They did, but the thing here is that I have been involved in a couple of events or a couple of volunteering activities, which will come later. But the MBA, especially a one-year MBA program, is so fast-paced. It's very difficult to get involved in anything else. I've tried my best. I have been involved in a few things, but there's so many things happening, especially when you come to Oxford. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming. Doesn't matter from any background you come from. I would say it's overwhelming in a good way, because in the first 3-4 days you meet so many people. Again, diversity, diverse backgrounds, and you kind of feel overwhelmed. And I remember that in the first 3 days I would have probably introduced myself to more than 200 people. And at the end of the third day, like almost all of us had like our voices were choked, because we had to shout, because there were so many people speaking, because the first 2 weeks at the launch weeks. Yeah, but it was interesting. It is a little overwhelming, but yeah, as the year progresses, you slowly get used to a routine in a lifestyle, because the transition from a work life to a student life takes a little bit of time. The mental preparation is also a factor here. And then, yeah, coming back to your question, sorry, I got debated a little bit, wanted to share the initial experience. Yeah, so I was involved in quite a few initiatives. I am a part of the Side Business School Ambassadors Group. So here we participate in.
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry, I lost you. Can you repeat?
The group name is the Ambassadors Group. So the main role of the ambassadors are, say, pretty much work with the incoming students. So Oxford usually has launch sessions or any other information sessions, or people who come for on-site interviews. They arrange some sessions where the current students speak about their experiences, or they join them for a college dinner or lunch. So that is the responsibility of the ambassadors group, to represent Oxford to the incoming students. So I have been a part of that group. I've attended quite a few sessions, dinners, lunch, information sessions, answering questions to the incoming students. And then I have also been a part of my college. So the way Oxford and Cambridge are much different from any other MBA schools are, you not only become a part of the business school, but you are also a part of a college. So Oxford has more than, I believe, if I'm not wrong, they have around 40 colleges. So every student in Oxford, no matter what you are studying, you have to be enrolled with a college. So the thing here is that for the undergrads or for the grads, they have enough time if they're having a 5-year course, or you have enough time to interact within the college. Because when you're part of the college, when you're interacting with people in the college, it's not just from your MBA community. They are from different fields. For example, I met someone who is studying criminology. And that's incredible. You hardly find that anywhere else in the world, like studying in a B school, but getting access to a wider university. And you are having such enriched conversations with people. So I was a part of the Green Templeton College, and I was a member of the ball committee. So again, in Oxford, every college will have a ball, which is basically a one-day event, or probably a few hours event, where it's more about like a party. It's a gala. So we bring in food vendors who serve foods. We decorate the colleges. We serve drinks. Then there is like a sort of a mini concert where we have like music and stuff. So a lot of series of events. So it was great fun organizing that with people who are a lot younger than me, learning from them. And there were a couple of events here and there I have been a part of, but it's very difficult to be a part of the volunteering activities. Yeah, I won't say that I did a lot of like a social volunteering. There were a couple of opportunities to meet some of the schools here, but I didn't get a chance to participate.
So these are the clubs that you were.
Yes, so there are other clubs also. For example, I'm a part of the technology club. They call it Oxford Business Network, OBN. So like you have consulting OBN, finance OBN, technology OBN. So I was a part of the technology OBN, one of the leads there. So I organized a couple of events. So that was specifically a club.
Okay, nice. So do you wish you had known, what did you wish you had known before you started? Can you share some advice to incoming students to help make their adjustment to B school easier?
So that's a very good question. So I think it's very important. From my experience, it's very important to speak to the people who are either currently studying or who are alumni, but not like graduated like 6, 7 years. Speak to the recent alumni. The way it helps you is to understand in what way you can prepare. So before I came to Oxford, I've spoken to quite a few alumni who just recently graduated. And I got very valuable advice, specifically regarding the career services, what you should expect, how you can be more proactive. And based on my experience, it's important. Like few people might say that it's okay for you to come to the school and figure out what you want to do in your career, and that's totally fine. I mean, in Oxford, you will find different people. Like you will find people who already has a job and has come here, and you will find people who probably has got a job like 1 or 2 weeks into the MBA program. That might be too early, but at least 1 or 2 months. And there are people who are probably deciding right now that what they want to do, how the, I mean, how they're still figuring out what they want to do in their career, and there is no right or wrong way. So I think, at least personally for me, it was important to at least have a basic idea that what I want to do before my MBA, and to do a groundwork. For example, like one could be consulting or one could be finance if you want to go into investment banking. So it's very important to speak to people, because there is a finance OBN here, and there is also a finance. I think there are a couple of separate courses. So the more you talk to people, the more you do your research, it helps you to be prepared. But at the same time, it's also important to be open to options, because, and that is something I would say from my experience. That is something I wish I had known better, because initially when I came to Oxford, I wanted to be in consulting. But I prepared a lot for consulting, but I realized through that process that it's very important to have a backup option. For example, what if it doesn't work out? Where do you want to go into? What will be your backup? What would be your plan B? And it's not necessary that you always have to have it ready before you come to your MBA, but it's very important to be flexible. I mean, you should not think that, okay, I want to go into consulting, I want to go into investment banking, I won't accept anywhere else. You should not go with a fixed mindset. You should always be open to feedback, open to options, and that's very important. And I have seen quite a few of my colleagues or friends here that whose priorities have changed over the years. People who wanted to go into consulting are potentially becoming entrepreneurs. They're opening a company of their own. So if you have a target, but at the same time, if you're flexible and maintaining a balance of that, that is very important.
So that's your advice to the students.
Yes, yes, yes.
What does recruitment look like at Oxford? Do you have any advice to incoming students about recruitment?
Yes, so I have quite a few advices. So I'm just thinking where to start with. Number one would be networking. So in Europe, I'm not sure how it works in the US MBA schools, but I believe it would be similar. But yeah, so it's very important to build relationships. Before I came to Oxford, I used to hear the word networking. So I think the networking is not the right word to describe the meaning of it, because networking seems like a very transactional relationship. And I think it's very important to build relationship, to build authentic relationship with people in your class and with your future employers. So the way it works is, in recruitment at least, there are two parts. One is structured hiring period that primarily starts for finance and consulting.
Can
So the structured hiring is really, yeah.
Can you please repeat yourself? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure. So there are basically two phases of recruitment. One is called the structured hiring, one is called the unstructured hiring. So the structured hiring typically starts during October, November in Oxford, and where it's primarily for the consulting companies like McKinsey, BCG, Payne, and other consulting firms. And there are some finance. I was not into finance, so I cannot really give a lot of insight of finance. And they usually recruit people, like you apply through the school structured hiring program. and they call you for interviews. And I believe Amazon also has a structured hiring program with Oxford. They have two structured programs, pathways for operations and consumer leadership development programs, but there are very few. Very few people actually get into the structured hiring program. So then comes the unstructured hiring. So for the unstructured hiring, it's totally, so Oxford will have a career site like say Indeed or any other career site, so where you can go and apply for jobs, and then you can use other sources such as LinkedIn. But the European market is very competitive. If you really want to get into a job, so like if you really want to get into a desired role, because for one role you will probably have 2,000 applications. So it's very unlikely. I mean, I won't say it's very unlikely, but it's very difficult to just get selected if you, I mean, by applying to a job. So it's very important to build relationships with people. For example, if you're planning to, like, if you see a role, or even if you, before you see a role, and that's where preparation comes. Even you can start doing that even before you come to Oxford. What you can do is that you list out your future employers. If you want to go into consulting, say apart from say McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, what are your consulting companies out there? Or if you want to go into the global industry, say you want to go into food manufacturing or retail industries, what are the top 10 employers out there who recruits in the European market? And then say if you want to go into marketing strategy, then go into LinkedIn, search like who are the marketing strategy leads working in that company based out of UK, and you start building a relationship. And that's where the Oxford brand also plays a role, that if you say that I'm studying in University of Oxford and I want to have a conversation with you, people respond. But it's very important to build a relationship. It should not be like you don't know that person and you're reaching out via LinkedIn saying, I want a job. And things don't work that way. That's why I'm saying that networking is not the right word. It's important to build relationships with people.
Nice.
Just reach out to them, have a coffee chat. Don't even talk about your CV. Just learn what they're doing. And even if you're not, even if you don't end up working for that company, like you can gain a lot of knowledge. Like over the last 1 year, I would have probably met more than 35 people in London. Just go there, meet a few people. And I had quite great conversations. Few of them really liked me, and they said that if I have a role for you, I will let you know, and they themselves will bring it up if they really like you. And some of them referred me to another business unit because they didn't have a role, and some of them just didn't work out because either they were not hiring or my skills didn't match. But at least conversation helps you. So I think building relationships with people and not just relying on the fact that I'm applying for a job and I'm going to be selected for the interview, most of the times things don't work that way.
I really like it, how you have defined networking. Networking is not the right word. Building relationships is the right way.
Right. Yes.
That's a very,
absolutely. And that is something I've learned. I mean, this is all from my learning experience. When I started doing it, like say reaching out to people, I also felt like I have to do networking. I have to reach out to as many people as I want to, because I come from an insurance background. And so the way I targeted was reaching out to people who are working, say, a partner in different consulting firms for their insurance unit, or say, who are business development manager in insurance companies across Europe. So over the process, I realized it's important to build relationships rather than just being transactional.
nice. So tell us something about your post MBA career.
Yes, so I have a couple of offers at this point, and I cannot name the company where I'm going to join because it's not confirmed yet. Because things are still, I mean, I have accepted the offer, and they're still working on certain official stuff. So until and unless it's completely confirmed, I cannot say it. But I would say that it's a good role. So I'll be working in a global industry. It's not consulting. I will most likely be in Europe, mostly in Luxembourg or UK. But yeah, hopefully in a month I can confirm you the name of the company.
Perfect. Lastly, Arjun, is there anything you wish I had asked you?
No, I think one of the things that I should have answered in terms of the advice to people who would come to Oxford, I wish I had known, or it's not like I had known, or maybe from my learning experiences. Uh, I think people give me that advice and have realized how valuable it is. Because in a 1 year MBA program, there is so much of pressure. Like you have to complete assignments, you have your exams, you have to look for jobs. But it's very important to establish relationships with people, go out, have conversations with people, come out of your comfort zone. Because there might be some applicants who doesn't have or who don't have any international exposure. So I think it's very important, or irrespective of anyone, whether you have international exposure or not, I think it's very important to just engage in conversations with people. So just don't sit at home thinking I have to come do the reading for the next day, do the assignment for the next day. Because I believe that now that my MBA is, I mean, almost wrapping up, I feel that you won't ever get this experience anywhere to have such enriched conversations with people. So for example, in our cohort, we have a South African lady. She's almost 45 and she has 5 kids. And she is a surgeon and she is doing her MBA. And there are other, we have people who served in the army in UK or some other countries who are doing their MBA. And there are quite a few people like that. And when you have conversations, just nothing, just have normal conversations with people, and the kind of thoughts, the kind of experiences they bring with that, it's much bigger than say a classroom experience or learning from any theoretical concepts. And that really enriches you as a human being. And so I that would be my advice for anyone coming to Oxford. Just have conversations with people, go out, invite people out for dinner or lunch or for a drink, have conversations. That is very important.
Wonderful. That's a very valuable advice. All right then. Thank you, Arjun, for reconnecting with us and sharing your valuable, amazing Oxford experiences.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck with your last 1 month at Oxford and your post-Oxford career, and continued success throughout your life.
Thank you, Poonam. I really appreciate it. And thank you again for your help. Let's keep in touch. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Bye-bye.